So, Helen, you said a word that I want to talk about. Provocative. You said you wear sexy lingerie. I know it's not for your two barking children, the two dogs that are always everywhere, even in your office. What kind of dogs are they?
Pomeranians.
Yes, two Pomeranians.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what life has been like in the dating world. For you, post, having been a married woman since you were 17, who has only seen one man's jewels. I mean, I'm trying to find a word, we have to be honest with your listeners. They have to know everything about you.
Okay.
So give us a little bit of juice. I mean, how did you jump into the dating world? And
it wasn't jumping.
Did you jump? Did you dive? Did you put a toe in? Did you just go everywhere all at once?
No, definitely. From the background that I came from, it was a struggle to go back to the dating world because...
Well, you've never dated.
I never dated.
Did you date your husband, or it was an arranged marriage?
It was an arranged marriage. So it's like I have no idea what is dating is about. So I have to learn how to date. As a 32 years old, I had to experience what is dating. So lots of failures.
We're not going to ask you to give us a number on what lots means.
So here's what I want to say. Like the first few years, it was people were choosing me. I wasn't choosing them. So to define it better.
Tell me, what does that mean? Like you're at a restaurant, somebody comes up to you,
yeah,
and you're like, okay, fine.
No, not okay, fine. It's like debates, and then I might get followed, or they might show up where I live, so like a stalker style. And then at some point I give in if they're like so pushy. So because I am still like not fully adapted to the new culture, or what are my boundaries, or what is it that I want. So like that was not fully defined for myself yet. So still, like, am I likable? So you know how like we are right now, we think, does this person likes me? We forget about, do I like him?
So in the beginning, was it like you were under this kind of surprise and intoxicated by the idea that someone could love you?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why there were no boundaries and standards.
There was
right?
no boundaries and standards. Yes. So it's like I did define my life or who I'm dating with, and I did have some measurements. But let's say it was, what is your education? Where do you work? How do you look like? But it wasn't so much about the self-development or like who you really are. Like I forgot about who they really are, and I looked at the more surfacey thing by choosing them. And because I wasn't trained about, like, I didn't know exactly who I am, so how can I go even find out who they are? So yeah. I was lacking that.
And so it sounds like it was developed over time.
It was definitely developed over time. It was lots of crazy experiences, lots of fun experiences.
A lot of stalkers.
Lots of stalkers.
Liars, cheaters.
I didn't encounter so many cheaters except one. So I'm grateful for that. But liars, yeah.
So what's your take on men? I mean, first of all, are you with anybody? Are you married? Are you single?
I am single for the rest of my life.
Well, no, you are with yourself. You're always with yourself.
I'm dating myself very, very seriously. Sometimes I'm dating, sometimes I'm not dating. But like my intake in men is very, very different because I'm not looking for a man anymore. So that chapter in my life, it closed. So I don't want to be married, or I don't want to have a traditional family lifestyle. I don't want any of those. And I'm not even interested in any of those. Like, I like a companion. I like the best friend. I like a partner in crime. I like a hot, passionate sex. I like that kind of lifestyle. And if I can, like, get to know someone with that sense, Yes, I do. And if not, then I'm not that interested. And just I get carried away and I move on. So my career and me myself, I am my own priority. My businesses are my priority. So like I don't focus on like I want to be with someone. Is that part of in me is bye bye.
It's because you're so content with who you are, and I feel like you've developed your inner world so much that you don't need to keep filling that void.
I think there's a part of me that achieved the sense of being. Am I complete if I'm with someone?
Okay. You're asking yourself this?
Yes.
Am I complete
if I'm with someone?
Oh, you're saying, am I only complete when I'm
Yeah.
with somebody?
Yeah.
And the answer should be no.
No.
I am complete alone.
Yes.
Yes.
So, do I feel happy if I'm just with someone?
Right.
Do I feel achieved my goals if I'm with someone? Or I got where I want to get. And like even the ideas, so we all human, we all love connection. Like why we are friends, because at the end of the day we are human. I love to be loved by you. I love to love you. I want you to be in my life. So this is in our DNA. We want to have people around ourselves. But I learned if I don't have a partner, a guy partner that is with me for rest of my life, or compared to having 10 different partners, so it's just again another belief system. So I'm only willing to stay with someone as long as I'm aligned. If I'm not aligned, I have to move on. I can't continue if I'm not aligned. If I grow apart, I will go.
So what are signs, and this is not only about men, I think it could be friendship, and I ask myself, what are signs of misalignment? It could be at work with anybody, like, is there something you feel in your heart that's like red flag, I'm not aligned with who I am, I have to...
Yeah.
What are those signs? Because I feel like they come, they're very subtle, quiet signs,
Yeah.
and sometimes people have a hard time.
Yeah.
They're like, they didn't hear the sign or didn't...
Yeah.
What do you feel? It's hard to put into words, but let's try. Like, what are the signs when you are misaligned, like,
so
with a person?
Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple of examples left of the people who told me before. So, like, I'm a very ambitious person. Like, I have lots of ambition in my life. So when someone comes and say, "Oh my God, like you run after money," like what is it that you want to achieve?
So talking down to you.
It's like, what is it that I'm gonna explain to this person? Is it like, if you know me, if you try to get to know me, I don't run after money. I'll run after my dreams. I run after because I love to create. I run after creating a very powerful version of Helen. I go after creating a strong businesswoman. I'm not running after money. So that's already disconnect. And if I try to explain myself the first, but that's a sign of not being aligned if someone is not even appreciating my ambitious in life.
Totally.
Right? Or when I party,
you mean you go out and party? That we need a whole another episode for those stories.
Yes. I'm like, I party so hard. And
let's give an example. Let's give a fun example.
like, I can stay up like 4 days, like
4 days, no sleep, partying.
like barely sleeping, and I just go on a row and just enjoy music and dancing and then meeting so many new people, and it just go to another country and like explore the nature, go back to the events and like explore another sets of people, and I do this so often.
Right. But guys, the true example of how hard Helen parties is she has broken a foot. Broken a foot dancing. Can you believe that?
No,
Wow.
that's not that bad. I think the worst one is I woke up with no tooth. I'm like, What happened?
So she parties so hard that she's toothless and handicapped. So now you know. And she still looks beautiful. Well, her tooth is back. I don't know.
I know, we put it back.
She got a crown back on or something. I love that you can balance hard work with playtime.
I don't know if it's balanced.
Well, we don't want readers to know too much information. Oh my gosh, now I forgot where we left off. I didn't know you were missing a tooth. In 2013, Helen, you literally ran away from home overnight. What were you running away from?
I ran away from a person that I turned into, that I allowed people to create that version of me. I ran from myself and who I became.
So you ran away from a version of yourself that other people had created.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And, I figured it was me who allowed other people to impose me their ideas, create what they want out of me. It was me who I allowed it to happen. Because is regardless what are you in, unless you're physically in a prison and then someone has the key and you cannot physically open something, doesn't matter how much verbal or physical abuse that you're under, you can run away. Like you can run away, you can end it, you can fight it, you can disappear from that house and that town and it just go to the police station and just go somewhere, you can leave. But it was me sat there and gave myself million different reasons that no, I should stay here and it's okay. I try to define everything. This is okay. This is normal. This is let them talk to me like this. So like maybe my self-worth is this. Maybe I never can run away. I don't have a power to run away. I gave myself a million different excuses to just stay under those circumstances and be miserable and not doing anything about it.
Yes, and it sounds like your podcast, Femme Fatale, is about being accountable, saying, I am not a victim. I will never be a victim again.
Yes.
That's what I'm hearing from you.
Absolutely. So there's two roles you can play in your life. Either you're a victim, right?
Right.
Or whatever happened to you, it was also your choice. You stayed there.
Right. And of course, we're talking about adults, not minor children.
Yes, of course.
Women,
absolutely.
adult women who
Yes.
are choosing, making a choice.
Making a choice. Thinking, I'm not working. My husband is working. So I guess because I need to live here in this house, I can let him to verbally abuse me. I can let him to cheat and I close my eyes and accept. I can let him to, create all these kind of rules and for me to live with those rules. So at the end of the day, you think you are incapable or you don't want to face it. You don't want to go through the difficulties and you just sit there, you accept it and you just live that life.
Or sometimes, I have to say for myself, you haven't seen an example of that, let's say an empowered woman, and you have to see it to believe it. And I think Femme Fatale offers that you hear someone else's journey and you start to believe it's possible for you. If it happened, if Helen did it, why can't I do it?
True.
Helen had nothing. So when you talk about running away, some people might think, well, it might be dangerous. What if, I'm in a domestically violent situation? He'll come after me. He'll murder me.
Yeah.
It's not to say you were followed. You had to overcome a lot of dangerous situations. We're not saying the danger is not there.
Yeah, correct. It wasn't this happy that I just packed my stuff and I'm like, I lived happily ever after. No, it wasn't those. I accepted the challenges.
Right.
But I accepted, I'm like, either I'm going to accept to die physically.
Right. Yeah.
Or I'm going to accept to die, like me die
With your soul,
with
yeah.
my soul.
Right.
So like I had to choose, and I chose to save myself. I chose to learn how to say no. I learned how to choose to accept I can be strong. I can teach myself how to have strength. So when I watched girls and good role models that they were able to save themselves, I encouraged myself to feel like strong to go through this journey of changing my life, changing the circumstances in my life, and then becoming a better version of myself. But what I want to add is, was this easy? Absolutely not. Was it worth it? Absolutely yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely yes.
Yes.
Did I suffer it for years? Yes.
Yeah.
But I love the outcome. And then sometimes I think I'm like, okay, so this person sitting here with all those past, with all those experiences that I went through. So will I change anything? No. Because this person is outcome of all those schooling, of all those universities that I graduated. So I'm the outcome of my experiences. So, and I love this person, and this person needs to love all those experiences because it made me who I am today. So I start having peace with every part of it. I start forgiving whoever that I thought did something to me. I forgive myself. I forgive myself for not saying no. And then accept people did their best. I did their best. I learned from it and I moved on. And I moved on to be a stronger version of myself. And then this is how I healed myself also.
That's really powerful. And it makes me think that there is a choice sometimes, physical death, not always, but sometimes physical or, circumstantial death versus soul death. And everyone has to evaluate these two and learn and understand from it. Going to your example, I know that you're a new version of Helen. There was an old version of Helen. You had a resurrection. You literally came up from the ground, okay? Resurrected. We've accomplished that. But sometimes I wonder, do old versions of ourselves, a piece of it stays in us? Because we're so multidimensional, we're layered, we can't just amputate it.
Yeah.
It's there.
No, it's there.
And what do we do about it? Do you give it love? Let's call it the old Helen wearing a hijab. Or the old controlled Helen that was like in a cult, like, state of mind. Do you give her love? How do you give her love?
I think I learned, like not even too long ago, I think it was around 2018 that I gave it a love. And I learned if I don't love that part of myself, like I was constantly punishing myself for it. And then not until give it a love, not until like hug myself, says, you did what you could do. You made the best decision in that time. You like I forgive you. And then even there's nothing even to forgive. You okay.
Right.
You okay.
So you hug yourself, you close your eyes, and you think of
Like,
that version of her.
I literally hug that version of myself and I say thank you for going through all those hardship.
Wow.
Thank you for staying quiet and going through all those in order to become this person, to learn. And not until I had that, I used to think I'm ashamed of those memories. Wow. I was like those memories, like I wasn't able to talk about it in public in a podcast because those were like memories that I'm not so proud to talk about.
So you're hiding your past life.
I was hiding my past life. I wasn't comfortable. Like I was scared to be vulnerable. Right? And then it was a day that I realized my vulnerability is my strength.
Yes.
I am strong because there is nothing that you can do that can insult me, lower me down. I can have everything. I can lose everything. I can live at the, I don't know, island. I don't need things to feel good about myself. I love things, but they're temporary. So it's just, I defined myself as as a human being, like, how do I value myself? And what are my values?
That's beautiful. Tell us, what are your, right now, what are your three, what do you value, what are the top three things that you value the most in your life? It could be anything that like really make you happy.
I think my number one thing that I'm really proud of myself is, hold on a second, because there is two versions of that. Is the version that's how I value myself for myself, or it's also my heart, because, for example, there's one thing in me, and that is I don't like to hurt anybody. I really don't.
So being
even if you're my enemy, I would rather to walk away and forgive you and let love kill you. Yeah, or let you find love so you can heal. So I love that about myself, that I don't need to get revenge. Don't need to like do anything malicious toward you. So I love that about myself toward other people. Right. Now, what is my value for myself is, like, I love that I can go through challenges and still shine. You know, I love that you can leave me alone. I can be pushed, and I will stand there and I will analyze things, and I'm like, I'm okay. I love you. It's difficult, but I'm fine. I love that how I can give power to myself, and accept myself and love myself. I love that about myself. Bring myself back up again. Yes. I love that about myself.
Which is like a everyday. I feel like you have worked on that every day. Mm-hmm. You are.
You know, when we say, for example, like, I don't want to care what people to think of you, right? Or to think of ourselves. So first, we acknowledge that we don't want to care how other people view us or see us. Then first, we have that desire. But until we get there, that we really don't care of how they judge us, how they make us feel small about ourselves, and we are still okay with it. It will be a challenge with ourselves to just, like, people view you as like this person that doesn't fit the society or doesn't fit that religion or your family, and still giving yourself enough reasons that, no, I'm okay, I do have a value. No, right. I'm okay. I am not going to see myself based on how other people judge me. Translate those judgments is achievement.
Right.
That you need to get there, and it will take time. You're not going to open your eyes as, okay, from today I'm okay with whatever people gonna call me, name me, right. You know, like, no, it's a process that you go through.
It is a process, and based on what you said, it's so true. Your environment is everything. Like, people talk a lot about, if you are in a physically abusive relationship, get out, right? Save yourself. If there's danger, get out. What if there's danger to your mind? It's dangerous for your mind to stay there. Yeah. I think the same applies. Get out. Whether it's friends, even family. I've had to leave family, like subcultures and relatives. Like, get out. Don't go around that, because it does affect you until you have reached some point that is so high up where you completely are not affected. But I'm affected sometimes, and I at least know now that I can walk away. Yeah. I'm allowed to pick who I want to be around. I can so walk. True. I can walk.
Yeah, you can allow yourself to walk away. You're brave enough. Yeah. You have enough courage to walk away and feel good about yourself.
Yeah. Right.
And not allow people to call you whatever their point of view is.
Find the nearest door. I think people think walking a day is like surrendering. I don't think so. I think it's the opposite. I don't think it's surrendering. I think staying is surrendering. Because you're not going to fight with them. You're not going to be able to level with these people.
Yeah.
I think walking away is truly a form of self-care. So
Walking away from the people who are not accepting or cherishing who you truly are,
absolutely.
you have to walk away.
Amen. Walk away. High five. Okay. Helen, Femme Fatale is such a empowering podcast. It is affecting so many people around the world. Why did you create this podcast?
The reason I created this podcast, number one reason was in my journey, I felt very alone. I felt I don't have enough role model. I didn't know impossible is possible. I didn't know I can choose who I want to be. I didn't know I can create what I want. I didn't know any of this possible. I thought these are books. I thought these are for people who came from a perfect families, perfect education, perfect upbringing. And then because I didn't know it's possible, I didn't try. So because I stayed alone, I was alone and I didn't have a support system to be where I want to be. And I went through it. Still I went through it because like I did want to change. I didn't want to be that weak person. Without a role model, without someone to hold my hand or I can cry on their shoulder, I decided to create this podcast to be that support for those people. To tell you it's possible only if you want to. You can achieve it if you see yourself there. And this is not books. This is not like, I'm not trying to sell anything. This is my hobby. This is absolutely not the direction that I'm putting my energy. Like I'm in a healthcare business and like all other things that I do has nothing to do with my podcast. But I reached a point of my life that I said, I want to be a support for that person that feels alone, unsupported, heartbroken, and I want to show you this is possible. If I did it, you can do it too.
I love it. I know you have a very incredible lineup of people that are coming on your show. Tell us, who are the guests?
So in order to show the impossible is possible to people, I decided to interview lots of self-made entrepreneurs. Self-made from making millions to self-made billionaire girls that they came from same type of background that I came from. They came from background of like abuse. They might came from a background of like not from a rich families or supportive families. So they created all of that for themselves. So I decided to interview this kind of people to say, look, like just because this person wanted to achieve this, like over time, it achieved whatever they envisioned for themselves. So, and then on top of those entrepreneurs, I decided to interview the people, like for example, psychologists, psychiatrist, nutritionist, or the people how teach you how to do self-development, to teach you how to implement whatever you hear from books. How important is to take a small step, but go ahead and change yourself. Go ahead and accept that you want to change yourself and take steps.
Right.
Because it's possible. Because if you want it, you will achieve it. So bringing sources and resources to help you and to help the audience to go through the transformation of new version of yourself.
Yes. Are we going to hear from any men?
Actually, yes. Part of my healing journey was finally forgive men. You know, because of me coming from the Middle East, I had a massive hate from men. And then my upbringing, my ex-husband, my father. But not until I had peace in my life, I couldn't really understand and have love for the world and love for humanity. So when I met so many amazing, beautiful men in my life, I realized my experience wasn't good. Not because men are horrible. Like, I didn't have a good experience. So I decided to have love for everybody and look at everything with loving point of view. And of course, I'm interviewing men too. And I have so many amazing, beautiful souls, which are men in my life, that I am interviewing them.
I love it. So we're going to get the male and female perspective.
Yes.
Amazing. What topics are we going to hear about on your podcast?
The topics are, again, how we are facing our fears, how we are creating a better version of ourselves, how we are identifying what is our identity, what steps we take in order to empower ourselves and empower people around ourselves, like business advices and then self-improvement advices.
That's amazing. This podcast is really how to find yourself, I feel like, how to love yourself, and how not to feel alone.
Not to feel alone. So
Femme
important.
Fatale is here for you.
Yeah. I think I got to a stage of my life that for first time in my life, I felt accomplished. Not that I'm not in the middle of accomplishing other things, but I learned the process, what is I'm achieving. So, and being happy during my process is my achievement. So, finding joy in the most simplest thing that I do. Finding a joy in like sitting with you and in going through this interview, dressing up, coming for this, putting glitter in my hair, drinking 10 cups of coffee. Like most simplest thing. And we forget these are our joyful.
Absolutely.
We forget that like sitting in my bed, looking at sunset, like telling myself, Helen, you're capable, you can do whatever you want. It's a very empowering story that I'm telling myself. That's the joy of my life. So finding joys in my life became became my happiness.
Absolutely. So I want readers to know, I want listeners to know that if they want to come home to themselves, truly come home to themselves, they should listen to this incredible podcast. There's so many insights, applicable tips in everyday life that you can use. Mm-hmm. And you really find a sisterhood and you feel like you belong there. Helen is so insightful. And I can't wait for all the guests and to listen to more.
Thank you. Thank you so much for taking your time and interviewing me, being my friend for the last 10 years.
Oh, it's an honor.
Helping me to grow. Oh. I owe lots of... You are my first supporter.
Oh my gosh, Helen. No.
You are.
I just, it's an honor to be around you.
Thank you.
And I've learned so much and I can't wait to be on this ride, get on this roller coaster with your listeners and to learn and grow together.
Thank you.
Cheers to Femme Fatale.
Cheers to Femme Fatale. So thank you so much for being with Femme Fatale by Helen, with Mary and Helen.